The marble floors of Stanton and Company gleamed under the soft hum of the nightlights. It was past 10 p.m., and most of the staff had gone home. Marla Jenkins, 49, moved quietly down the empty hallway, her old mop squeaking against the floor. She'd been cleaning this building for 14 years, long enough to know the rhythm of its people. But tonight, something was off. Through the half-open door of the CEO's office, she caught a glimpse of William Stanton, the man whose name was etched on the building. He was slumped in his leather chair, one hand gripping the armrest, his lips pale. She saw beads of sweat forming on his forehead, despite the air conditioning. Earlier, she'd overheard his assistant laugh it off. Just stress, he works too much. But Marla's chest tightened. She had seen this look before, once in her late husband's eyes, minutes before he collapsed in their tiny kitchen. Her heart pounded. She could walk away. She could mind her business. But something deep in her soul screamed, "Don't ignore this." She dropped her mop, pushed the door wide, and said, "Sir, you need an ambulance. Now." Marla wasn't the type to confront wealthy executives. She knew her place in the unspoken hierarchy of the building. Unseen, unheard, disposable. But that night, the air in that office felt heavy with urgency. William blinked at her in confusion. "I'm fine," he said, trying to sit upright. But his voice was slurred, and his hand trembled as he reached for his glass of water. "No, you're not," Marla replied firmly, stepping closer. "I've seen this before. Please, let me call someone." He chuckled weakly, as if amused by her concern. "Marla, right? You've been here for years. You know I work late. Just a headache." Marla didn't back down. Her husband Eddie had said the same words the night he died. She could still see his body on the kitchen floor, her hands shaking as she dialed 911. If she had recognized the signs earlier, maybe. She grabbed the office phone, ignoring his protests, and dialed emergency services. "I think someone's having a stroke," she told the dispatcher, her voice steady. Minutes later, the elevator doors opened, and two paramedics rushed in. The younger one checked William's vitals and shot his partner a knowing glance. "Good call," he said to Marla. "If we'd waited much longer, this could have gone bad." As they wheeled William out, he looked at her, a mixture of fear and gratitude in his eyes. "Thank you," he whispered, though his voice was faint. The office fell silent again, but for Marla, nothing felt the same. She sat in the break room afterward, staring at the cold cup of coffee she'd left hours ago. The next morning, whispers filled the halls. Staff members gasped at the news. The CEO had been hospitalized with early-stage stroke symptoms, and a cleaning lady had saved his life. 2 days later, Marla came in for her evening shift, expecting nothing more than another long night of emptying bins and polishing floors. But as she pushed her cart past the reception desk, she froze. There in the lobby stood William Stanton himself, thinner, paler, but alive. He was leaning on a cane, his tailored suit replaced with a comfortable sweater. "Marla," he called softly. She approached, unsure if she'd done something wrong. "Sir, He raised a hand. "If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be standing here. The doctors told me I was minutes away from something irreversible. You saw what no one else did." Marla shrugged awkwardly. "I just did what anyone would." "No," he said firmly. "Plenty of people saw me that night. Only you acted." He handed her a small envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter of gratitude and a check that made her knees go weak. "This isn't charity," William said, reading her expression. "It's recognition. You saved my life. Now let me help you live yours." The following week, William called a company-wide meeting in the Grand Conference Hall. Employees whispered, curious. It was rare for the CEO to address everyone at once. When Marla tried to slip past unnoticed, William stopped her and gently guided her to the front. "I want you all to meet the reason I'm standing here today," he said, his voice carrying through the room. Marla's cheeks burned as hundreds of eyes turned toward her. "She's been here longer than most of us," William continued. "She works nights, unseen, keeping this place running. And when it mattered most, she didn't ignore what others did." The room erupted into applause. Some employees even stood. Marla fought back tears. In all her years working there, she had never felt seen. William then announced a new program, free health training for all staff, no matter their position, and a bonus for the janitorial team. "Because heroes don't always wear suits," he said, looking directly at her. Months later, Marla's life looked different. She used part of the money to fix the leaky roof in her apartment and send her daughter back to college. She still worked at the building, not because she had to, but because she loved the quiet dignity of her job. Every so often, William would stop by during her shift, no longer the untouchable CEO, but a man who valued the life of someone society often overlooked. One night, as they chatted in the hallway, he said, "You know, Marla, I used to think this company's greatest asset was our stock value. Turns out it's the people who work here." She smiled, gripping her mop. "And I used to think people like you never saw people like me." Now they both knew better, because sometimes the richest gift you can give is simply paying attention.